We need to talk.
What the fuck?
No Way Home is out now, Diego. It's time to do that Spider-Man 2 review.
Listen, man, here's the thing. I don't know how you got into my dimension or why you're holding that fake gun pretending it's a real gun, but I just kept pushing the review further and further back, and people may have lost interest already, so I don't know.
I do want a Spider-Man 2 review, okay? And besides, now that No Way Home is out, this is the perfect time for the multiverse of Diegos to come back. So please do it.
Alright. Just don't shoot, or whatever, okay? It makes me, nervous, I guess.
That's it. Hands on the keyboard, homeless me. I want to see you typing.
Alright. Hands on keyboard. Jeez, say it nicer, why don't you? Wait a second, I have a question.
What?
You're a fictional character that I created to make MCU jokes about the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you entered my dimension implies that we're both fictional, right?
Holy shit, you're right.
Who's writing me?
Hey guys, what's up? This is Diego here at Cinemageddon Reviews. So, Spider-Man No Way Home, as you guys all know, is out in theaters right now, and it is currently the 6th highest grossing film of all time, and rightfully so. No Way Home was my favorite movie of 2021 and my favorite MCU film so far, and one of the reasons why is that we finally got to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire returning as Spider-Man. Now, while a lot of you guys out there have been campaigning recently for Sony to make The Amazing Spider-Man 3, rightfully so, I myself am hoping to see Spider-Man 4, because before Tom Holland, my favorite Spider-Man was actually Tobey Maguire. So today I'm being held against my will to continue my series of Spider-Man reviews, and let's kick it off once again with Tobey Maguire's best outing as the character, Spider-Man 2. Do you care to add anything to this? Thank you. Hey guys, what's up? This is the cooler Diego here at Cinemageddon Reviews. Asshole. Anyway, in my universe, we also got to see Spider-Man 2. I grew up worshipping this movie. I remember when I was in the 4th grade, this was my favorite movie of all time. Now, I wasn't as knowledgeable about making movies back then as I am now, but Spider-Man had made enough of an impact on me with his previous film that he became my favorite superhero of all time. And that nostalgia still holds up today, both through the previous movie and especially with this one. Now, while my less cool counterpart says No Way Home is his favorite Spider-Man movie, this one is still mine. I find that the story is very sophisticated, and it deals a lot more heavily with the themes of responsibility than the previous films or the Spider-Man films after that ever did. Most importantly, the use of the characters and how the subplots tie in with the main hero's goal are used better here than in No Way Home.
I disagree.
Okay, do you care to add to the argument? Look, for the record, by saying I enjoy No Way Home more, it doesn't mean I now hate Spider-Man 2. I still love this movie a lot. One thing this movie does have over No Way Home is it more heavily uses the theme of Peter Parker's responsibility as Spider-Man, which conflicts with the life he wishes he had. I believe in an interview in late 2017, one of the development heads for the Insomniac Games Spider-Man game said that the best Spider-Man stories have Peter Parker struggling to balance his personal life with his superhero life. And in this story, it's no exception, and it's probably why the film is so well regarded today and regarded as the best Spider-Man movie so far. I'm sure on some level we can all relate to facing the world and juggling all these different aspects of our own lives and just being mentally and physically exhausted. Okay, that I actually do agree with. Some of the best scenes in this movie don't involve Spider-Man kicking people in the face. They're actually the quieter character moments, like between Peter and Aunt May when she's moving out, or Peter and Mary Jane after he sees her play for the first time. One very smart thing that this movie does is to consistently remind Peter and us about what he's trying so hard to preserve. But that sacrifice, that effort that he makes to give up on being Spider-Man, costs him and the people he cares about in a very different but equally important way. Another highlight of this movie, which was done just as well in No Way Home in my opinion, is Dr. Octopus, who was played excellently by Alfred Molina. And I think that, especially thanks to this movie, he is still the best live-action Spider-Man villain we've ever seen.
Thank you.
Yeah. What makes him so uniquely memorable, and in my opinion more so than the Green Goblin was in Spider-Man 1, is that he isn't just some deranged maniac who's just killing people in cold blood just for power. Otto Octavius is actually a passionate scientist who wants to honor his wife's death by continuing her legacy and continuing his life's work and improving it in her memory. And it's not just the complexity behind the character, it's also the practical effects of the arms, which are so freaking cool. They were understandably all CGI in No Way Home, and they still look great. It's just that thanks to the practical effects of the arms in Spider-Man 2, we managed to get gems like this.
If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man. Oi!
Another antagonist of the film is Harry Osborn, played by James Franco. What I appreciated the most about this side of the story was just how far down the rabbit hole of grief Harry was, and how that adds a whole layer of darkness to everything. And towards the middle of the film, Harry is so desperate for revenge that he's willing to put his own best friend in harm's way to get what he wants. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if Peter was just a regular guy and wasn't Spider-Man, he would be dead right now. This movie can actually be very dark if you look at it through the right lens.
Not too dark, though.
Wait your turn, please.
Aw, why don't I play a sad song for you with the world's worst violinist?
Spider-Man, a Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can, spins a web any size.
Let's talk about Sam Raimi's direction and the writing, which doesn't let this movie become too dark for certain audiences. Thanks to both of those, we managed to get some pretty good humor throughout the film, such as the violinist outside the theater, Bruce Campbell as the usher, and especially J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, who once again does an awesome job.
Mr. Jameson, please, isn't there any of these shots you can use? I really need the money.
Miss Brandt?
Yes.
Get me a violin.
5 minutes to deadline, Jonah.
All right, run a picture of a rancid chicken. Here's a headline. Food poisoning scare sweeps city.
Some food got poisoned?
I'm a little nauseous, yeah.
There's one scene in Spider-Man 2.1, which is the extended edition for those who don't know, where Jameson actually tries on the Spider-Man suit and he's like jumping around in the Daily Bugle office. It kind of makes me want to see a version of Spider-Man where J. Jonah Jameson becomes the character instead of Peter Parker. I think that'd be freaking sweet. All this goes to show that the writing and the direction uses a good mix of its tones, its themes, and some pretty good contrast between humor and action to keep the audience engaged all the way through the movie. This movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes long, but it never felt that way.
So you agree?
What?
You agree that this movie's better than No Way Home? What? Dude, no. Look, I still love it. From a nostalgic point of view, few movies stack up against it. But look, what makes it special in the end for me is that this movie taught me more than No Way Home did, more than Spider-Man 1 did, more than any other Spider-Man movie, that if Spider-Man can juggle all these difficult aspects of his life and still come out on top in the end, then maybe I can too. You know, maybe I'm not such a loser after all. So you hate it? Is that what you're telling me?
And with that said, my rating for Spider-Man 2 is 10 out of 10.
Wow. 10 out of 10. You sure about that? You seem to be having a hard time grasping the concept that it is possible to like more than one movie. Yeah, but that doesn't make your opinion good. Like yours is any better. So, my next review in this series is going to be Spider-Man 3. Do you want to help me out with that one? Hello?
Of course he leaves. Well, to everyone else, my next review in this series is going to be Spider-Man 3. It's not as good of a movie as Spider-Man 2 was, but I'm sure it's going to be fun to talk about anyway. Hopefully you guys won't have to wait too long for that one. As always, be sure to like this video and subscribe, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and please support our Patreon, we really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Diego for Cinemageddon Reviews, and I'll see you on the Wasteland. Safe.